Hello guys and welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. Once again I'm Greg and this is the Starting 11 show where we get to discuss some of the issues Ancelotti is facing for the upcoming fixture. I know I'm the one talking and I'll be doing a lot of talking, but I do want to hear what you guys think, so please do leave your thoughts in the comments below as I'm rambling on. A bit of injury news from the press conference. The revolving door continues. Seamus Coleman's back, fit and could be picked. But as we know, Allan hobbled off. I think he was stretchered off in the end against Leicester, which is far from ideal. And it looks like he's going to need a bit of surgery as well. It's kind of a race back. Is he going to have surgery and get back? Or will Gbamin come back first? But someone of that defensive midfield profile has got to come in and bridge the gap. It's definitely one point we have to discuss here. Who's going to fill the gap left by Allan? And the other thing, I guess, whilst we're on that topic, is Seamus Coleman. Does he get straight back into the team? Let's go through position by position and find out. First, unfortunately, of course, James, Delph and Luca Dean still aren't fit either. Starting controversially in goal, of course, Robin Olsen played a good game against Leicester. In fact, we've only ever seen him play a good game. He's played 2 games for us. Seemed very strong both times. Seemed very solid, very positive. Very secure. You sort of don't feel as nervous with him there. But it looks like he's probably going to be dropped again for Pickford. Last time Olsen came in, it was only for the one game, wasn't it? It seems to be a tactic to rest Pickford, maybe let him clear his mind a little bit. But Pickford's also been on a good run of form recently. He played well against Chelsea, so a lot of people were surprised to see him dropped in the first place for Olsen. So it's a good conundrum we have at the moment. I know a lot of people are very team, we want to see Olsen get a run of games. I know a lot of people are very team Pickford's England's number one. Why shouldn't he be our number one? But whichever team you're on, it's a good debate to be having. Last season when we were looking at Pickford underperforming and we were thinking, oh, who's really on the bench is it was sort of either Virginia between loans. It was an ageing and retiring Stecklenburg or Lursel, who in the brief time he was on the bench last season just looked completely disenfranchised. So at least we got 2 good keepers, competent keepers vying for that position. But I do think we'll see Pickford regain his spot just by previous patterns. And then we're straight in with the other point of contention is right back. And what I would say is what I always say: if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's very rare that 4 players, a completely different backline, Holgate, Keane, Mina and Godfrey, had never played together as a back 4. There's 2 players fairly out of position there. For them to have been trialled a sort of baptism of fire against Chelsea and to keep a clean sheet, you think fantastic. They then replicate that against Leicester, who are also as capable an attacking team, but cause different problems. Long balls over to Jamie Vardy as opposed to whip balls in, and they keep a clean sheet again. Why would you change it? Why would you go and disrupt the formula that seems to be so effortlessly stumbled upon? For all of Ancelotti's tinkering and pragmatism, he stumbled across something that really works. Don't disrupt it until you're given you're forced to. Seamus Coleman comes back in, he disrupts that unit potentially. I know he's a right back and Mason Holgate isn't a right back by trade, but look, this is a team. This is a back line who have played together twice, kept 2 clean sheets. 2 of 3 clean sheets we've kept this season. So let it lie. And let's just see if it's something to go with going forwards. I know it's a different conversation when Luca Dean comes back because he's so important, not just to what we do defensively, but to what we do going forward. But with Coleman, maybe just leave him out for a little under the guise of getting him up to full fitness and just see what this back line can carry on doing. I've obviously given away the game that I'm going to keep a fairly unchanged back line. Holgate, Michael Keane, who looks monumental. What a presence that man has been. He came back rejuvenated from, what was it, last time we had the coronavirus enforced break in the season. We came back and Michael Keane looked a different man. I don't know whether it was not having fans in the stadium that he reacted so well to, but he looked just as good as they returned to Goodison when we played Chelsea. But wow, he looks He looked world class, to be honest with you. I don't really see much of his game that's lacking as a centre back, and he's almost one of the players you're building the team sheet on. You talk about players that are just stuck to the board, when you're putting that team sheet together, and he's there. Next to him, you keep Yerry Mina, of course. Those two seem to be finally building a decent partnership. I've never been convinced with those two together, but that they seem to suddenly be clicking. Maybe it's the fact that we've got 4 centre-backs back there and they all know each other's role because they've all played it. I'm not sure. But keep him. And then Ben Godfrey, who I despicably called Ben Gibson about 10 times in the last video after a world-class performance. He doesn't deserve to be called the wrong name after putting in a performance like that. So I've had a word with myself and amended that this time. Ben Godfrey, I'm so impressed by. Keep him at left back, and when Luca Dean comes back, he's definitely knocking on the door for Yerry Mina's spot in that centre back partnership. Moving on to the midfield, we've got another conundrum. On the right side, of course, Abdoulaye Doucouré. What a performance! It's one of the best performances I've seen anyone put in an Everton shirt for a long time. First half, he's contributing to the attacks. He's everywhere. He's he's making runs to cover people. He's making runs to give people more space. Second half, Allan goes off, and suddenly he's a defensive genius. He's made 2 fantastic last-ditch challenges in the box, nicked the ball, and not just nick the ball, but then had the composure to distribute it and get an attack moving. That's something a lot of defensive-minded players struggle with, and Doucouré isn't even a defensive player by trade. You get players who, as soon as they get a sniff of the ball off a defender, just want to hoof it, just want to put it behind for a corner. Doucouré had the sensitivity and the delicate touch to nick it, look up, see an out ball, play it, and get an attack going. And that's so important for us because I don't want to say we've taken on a counter-attacking identity, but for the style of play we're playing at the moment, it's so important to turn defence to attack like that, especially when their team is fully committed. And next to him, who's next to him? That's the big question. If I'm predicting, I'm going to say it's Andre Gomes, because that is the card that Ancelotti reached for when Allan went off. Gomes and Doucouré played next to each other, and it seemed to work in the second half. It built a base for us to still go forward and get another goal and stop us conceding again. I think Gomes will play more of the forward-thinking role, and Doucouré will just have to put in another defensive masterclass. That being said, there's options. Tom Davies, Terry mentioned on the show we did, having a look at what we might do in the Arsenal game, that Gylfi Sigurdsson could be dropped back, and we might see, well, we said at the time, we might see James come inside into that number 10 role, but he's obviously not fit. Potentially Iwobi or Gordon or Bernard or someone could do that instead, but unlikely, I think, considering James isn't back. Not a nice idea if James was back, but the other option, and let me know what you guys think of this in the comments. This has just come to me in an epiphany. Seamus Coleman's back. Stick him at right back. Mason Holgate, we saw last season playing a defensive midfield role, and he performed well. It was almost the time he started to properly get into our lineup and show what he could do was when he was playing midfield, and then he came back defensive and just impressed everywhere. So he plays there. Coleman's out on the right. Doucouré and Holgate as a midfield partnership. What do we think of that? Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Could that be something to work on whilst Allan is out? Maybe. In front of them, I think it'll be Sigurdsson. I think he's put in 2 quietly solid performances. I wouldn't say he's been consistent for a long time. And I know 2 games isn't a consistent run, but I think it's something we can't just sweep away. I think that number 10 position's being thrown around at the moment. I think if Gomes is back, then he's not in contention. I would like to see Bernard maybe have a go through the middle. Is this the right game for it? I'm not sure. Iwobi could, but again, James isn't back. So I think we will see Gylfi Sigurdsson. I can't see anyone else is there. And whilst Luca Dean is gone, he's a big asset for set pieces as well. It's important that he's on the pitch for that purpose and that purpose alone. And with James out. And then the front 3 picks itself. doesn't it? Iwobi, who's looked rejuvenated again, to reuse the word. He's put one very good cross in for Gylfi Sigurdsson at the end of the game, and showed a little bit of that attacking, creative intent that he has. We all know he has, but just desperate for him to actually show. So Iwobi's there, Calvert-Lewin's there, of course he's there, and Richarlison, who finally got his goal. And hopefully the floodgates can open for him now, because you know he's needed it. He's been in a bit of a rut. You could see that. So for him to go out and get a goal is fantastic, and hopefully it's the first of many now. So I think, guys, that's the team. Pickford in goal, a back line of Holgate, Keane, Mina and Godfrey, Decore and Andre Gomez, with Gylfi Sigurdsson just in front, and then a front line of Iwobi, Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison. What do you guys think? What would be your team? How would you play it? Do you think we can win? Do you think we can keep another clean sheet, 3 on the bounce? That would be fantastic. What do you think about my idea of Holgate in the midfield? Do you think there's legs on that? Tom Davies or Andre Gomez, that's definitely a debate to be had. And how happy are you guys with Gylfi Sigurdsson? The sort of renaissance he's having as a number 10. Let me know all of that and any other thoughts you guys have in the comments. Let's hope for 3 on the spin, and we can really start to attack this festive period with some teeth, climb up the table and start to stake a claim. Fantastic, guys. I'll see you next time.